What if I told you that before anyone rejected you, before anyone abused you, before anyone made you believe you weren't enough, God had already spoken your identity? Trauma may explain what happened to you, but it never had permission to define you. When we begin talking about childhood trauma, many people immediately focus on what was broken. But healing doesn't begin with our brokenness. Healing begins by remembering what God created before brokenness ever entered the story. Genesis tells us that before there was sin, before there was shame, before there was fear, before there was rejection, there was purpose. You were created in the image of God. That means your value was never determined by your parents. It was never determined by your childhood. It was never determined by whether you were chosen or rejected. Your worth was established by your Creator. Trauma can distort our view of ourselves. It can convince us that we are unwanted, unlovable, too much, or never enough. But those are learned beliefs. They are not God's voice. One of the greatest lies trauma tells us is, something is wrong with me. The first truth God speaks is, you are mine. That's where healing begins. Not by asking, what's wrong with me? Not by asking, Lord, who did you create me to be? Because before the womb, there was purpose. Before shame, there was identity. Before fear, there was perfect love. So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Genesis 1:27. This week, I want you to spend just 5 minutes each day asking God one simple question. Father, help me see myself the way you see me. Because freedom doesn't begin when your past changes. Freedom begins when God's truth becomes louder than your pain. I'll see you next week on Freedom for the Girl Within TV, where we'll continue discovering the beautiful identity God spoke over us before the world ever tried to rewrite it.